Welcome back to Corpse Party. What's going on, everyone? It's the Niskel. In the last episode, we finished up Chapter 4, and in this episode, we're going to be doing the bad endings. And I'm only going to say bad endings because really there weren't too many, if any, alternate choices that you can make that would alter the dialogue at any point. The only thing I can think of, off the top of my head, and I'll be showing it off later, is actually in one of the bad endings, where if you do one thing differently, you'll just get the bad ending faster. So we won't be looking too much into that, we'll just be doing the bad endings. And this one is very basic. A lot of you probably saw this coming as a bad ending, and I did too, of course. It's kind of obvious when you go up to this, and notice there's a spirit. Indeed, there is a spirit. Sure, back away slowly, you say. Hey guys, I don't think I'm doing it right. Hello, ghost boy. Having to face eternal torment and torture in a void. That is Ayumi's fate. Now, let's say you really, really hate Ayumi, because she gets 3. The other one seems, again, very obvious to get. Yoshiki, you're going to have to get over your fear of water. We need to go save Ayumi. Now, believe it or not, do you see that line of, like, moss and whatever? It's making a straight line from that piece of wood to my left all the way over to the end of the pool. I went around the pool to see if there were other places we could check, and it's only in this line. It's because of how the tile sets were made, and these are the only places that Ayumi could possibly be. But, let's say you weren't paying attention, and you completely forget where Ayumi was. And believe it or not, the episode where this happened, I did. That's the part you didn't see, and what I had to edit out and redo. Ayumi actually died. So, let's say you're going through and you can't find her. It's just a murky pool. Where on earth could she be? I'll always remember now that she was 2 spaces to the right. And it's actually kind of interesting what the game does to remind you where she is. It doesn't do it now. It does it afterwards. It actually focuses in on the point where she is and basically goes, "Hey, stupid, we're putting a light on where she is. Save her this time, please." But that's not the only way Ayumi dies at the pool. No, there is another point where she can die. So here we have to get the pump key. And this is actually what I did on my very first time playing this game, because I panicked. That is one thing you do not want to do in Corpse Party is panic. Because as soon as you do that, you'll make easy mistakes, like this one. Getting the key again, this scene plays out entirely correct. You don't have to do anything different here. And I just realized how strange it is to say, here's how you get all the death scenes, because that's actually a checklist in this game. So Ayumi has fallen in the pool, and having done this a few times, she actually goes into the pool in the exact same place. So if you do forget, just remember, 2 spaces from the right. Playing this scene out the right way, you get all the exact same scenes, but there's one thing you can do differently. And before it happens, I want some of you at home to figure out what it is. Now, going through my mind, the first time playing this, I was thinking, okay, there's got to be a way to get in there. Since Yoshiki isn't getting in the water, and I didn't know I had to go back into the locker room to check, why isn't he going in the water? I guess there's only one thing to do. How to get someone out of the pool? Let's just get rid of the water. This is a terrible idea. Let's watch. And to be honest, the me that was playing this for the first time thought there was something in here to help her, since Yoshiki wouldn't go in the water. Let's see if there's anything in here to help her. Hey, look at this valve here. And the first thing to go through my mind was, oh shit, what have I done? It's exactly what you think. One of the most cruel beginner's traps. They give you a key. There's got to be something in there to save her, right? Wrong! So Ayumi has died again. Thankfully, that's the last time she's dying in this chapter. I should also mention that Chapter 4 is where the death scenes get complicated. You have to do exactly as I'm doing to get this next death scene, and yes, it involves Satoshi. The first thing you have to do to get this death scene, believe it or not, you have to do everything up to this point correct. So coming in here, activating this scene, this is actually important. If you don't do this, the death scene won't work. And other events won't trigger in the correct format. So you're going to have to do this first, and don't worry, I'll be skipping ahead for a bunch of these because this is very complicated. I can't believe they have you do all these steps just to get one thing. And believe it or not, this scene is important, not for what happens, but what you're supposed to do differently. This will probably be as good of time as any, but I just want to know, these episodes are tending to get a bit long. The last one, do you want it split in 2 parts or keep it in 1? Hello, cell phone. Ignore the cell phone. That is another important thing. So at this point, you have triggered the puzzle, and you have ignored the cell phone. You have ignored Naomi's cell phone. That needs to be specific and specified. Everything else plays out normally, but again, there will be one major change that will completely change the outcome of the rest of the chapter for you. I think you know what I'm getting at this point. If you've been watching up to this episode, you know exactly what's going to happen next and what the big change is.
なになに振り向いたらね、菱沼がサトシの股触ってんのよ。うわ、マジ？
Let's just say at this point, Naomi's going to have a very sore throat.
それ見て私、なんか菱沼をぶん殴ってやりたくなってさ。
This is still a funny story, though.
ナオミ、何それ、ジェラシー？わかんないけど、その後、あの二人すんごい喧嘩してたよ。ウケる。私も見たかったよ。
I should mention this is actually a very cruel way to get this ending. But it does bring up a few good points as to how the rest of the story will go. Based on what you see here, and what you'll see a bit later, you'll know what happens in Chapter 5. Or will you? Those were the main thoughts going through my head when I played through this the first time. And believe it or not, this is the first time I had seen this. Colored me shocked. I didn't think they were going to do this. History repeats itself. But this time, let's do something completely different. I'll just kick the door down, dude. There you go.
Naomi! Baka! Nani yatteru nda?
The game actually wants you to be the biggest douchebag in the world. Try holding her up was the good choice. Now, as soon as you choose this, you can't go back on that. You can look through this entire hallway, but there will be nothing to help her up. And because you chose that second option, because you can't go back and check it, you've screwed yourself into the bad ending. Because look what happens when you go back inside.
Naomi! 助け、お前、嘘だろ。何、会わなかったのか。嘘だ。嘘だ。数時間前、いつもの教室で笑っていた友達が、こんな薄暗い個室で死体になって吊り下がっている。ただ恐ろしかった。その事実が怖かった。気がつくと俺は必死で駆け出していた。ただその場から、死体から離れたかった。そう。なかったことにしたかったんだ。これは夢だ。現実のはずがない。だが、錯乱状態はすぐに解け、俺は、ナオミ、すまない。お前を助けてやれなかった。俺のせいだ。俺は どうすればいい？篠原、お前まで。くそ。なんだよ。なんなんだよ！なんで俺たちが死ななきゃいけないんだ！返せよみんなを！ちくしょう！ちくしょう！ゆか。しまった。あいつ、一人にしたままじゃないか。確か、渡り廊下で小便するって、一人で行かせたんだ。待ってろ、ゆか！お前まで失ったら。
Naomi has passed on, and if you noticed, Satoshi's entire sprite has changed. Now whenever you look to the side, he will always look like he has tears in his eyes. And everything else plays out normally. When you go to the wall, you will have to check this wall after seeing all that scene, and believe it or not, going back into the girls' lavatory, important. You have to see all of those scenes, and then come down and check the wall. Because...
喪失感に打ちひしがれた俺は、立ち上がる気力をなくし、その場にただ、座り込んでいた。どれほどの時間が経っただろうか。突然、校舎が大きく揺れ始めた。あ、また地震か！畜生！しゃがんでても仕方がないか。ゆか、きっと助けに行くぞ。待っててくれ。何でもいい。別館へ行く方法、手がかりを探すんだ。
And that's what has changed. You don't switch characters now, you are strictly with Satoshi. And the only thing I could think of is to go to the infirmary. The worst place in the world to go. And here's the biggest change. Who the hell is this?
なんだ！落ち着いてくれ！大丈夫か？前歯が折れてる。尋常じゃないな。俺は如月学園2年の持田って言うんだけど、君は？
私は白檀高等学校2年桐崎東子。
そうか。君はどうしてここに？
インターネットにあったおまじないを試したら、みんなここに。
おまじないか。同じだな、俺たちと。
最初みんなで一緒にここ出ようって そしたら、友達の一人が、ゆうやが、おかしくなって、急に、友達を階段から蹴り落として、笑いながら、その死体をもてあそび始めたの。私、必死に逃げてきた。
なんてことだ。
来る。みんな、狂っちゃうんだ。誰も信用できない。離れろ。向こうへ行け。
わかったよ。とにかく落ち着いてくれ。
Well, she seems a little unhinged, so let's leave her alone. But believe it or not, there is nothing else to do besides ponder and try to talk her down. Well, let's see if it works. Go, Satoshi!
お前も、私を殺しに来たのか。
You know what I want to pick? Yes!
そんなことはさせたくない。今日の宿題も終わってないのに、殺されてたまるか。
この子、ハサミを持ってる。
ごめんなさい。
やばい。血が止まらない。痛え。動脈切ったか。なんだ。寒い。やば。死ぬぞ、これ。痛い。痛い。ゆか、お前を一人に。ゆか、深い。
Ouch! Oh, being stabbed in the artery with a pair of disgusting scissors. What a way to go, Satoshi. And yes, you had to do all of that to get that one scene. The final one for this chapter, everything that you did for that last death, you have to do the exact same way with a couple minor differences, and I'll be sure to go over those. Now, when I said the death scenes get... yeah, they're just so complicated just to get one extra scene or maybe a couple more. But some of them even add to the story. And this is what this one is. I'll go into more of that when we get there. But
Naomi.
just know that you have to trigger the puzzle where Satoshi realizes he needs two people. You need to come up here, and at this point, the only thing you're going to do differently is pick up the phone. and everything else will play out normally. The one thing I do want to mention, while we're skipping through everything here that we've already seen, is actually the alternate choices that I skipped. The only thing that's different is when you're helping Naomi in the bathroom stall. When you're doing that, you have to choose different choices up to this point. I suppose I should mention that in order for this bad ending to start, you don't even have to help her, or attempt to help her. You could just up and leave without a care in the world. Satoshi will still think that there's something out here to help her, but realization kicks in when you walk back in and the music stops, and Naomi is dead. That doesn't change, but the interesting thing about this is actually required for another ending. The different choices, you have to hoist her on your shoulders. The first choice being having to hold her up. The second choice is whether you put her on your shoulders or back her up against the wall. If you back her up against the wall, it'll actually set you back to the first choice. Either way, the first one, where you go find an item, is wrong. The second one kicks you back to the beginning. And the third one, standing on the bucket, very, very bad choice. The bucket actually breaks and Satoshi falls, but Naomi breaks her neck. That's the worst feeling in the world when you consider it's now Satoshi's fault that she's dead. The other important thing, after having everything play out the exact same, you do have to go back into the girls' lavatory, get that scene there. But if you come back into this hallway and pick up Seiko's cell phone, that changes everything, believe it or not. Now everything is going to play out completely different. So after you have both girls' cell phones, you know you're doing it right. It also helps if both of them are dead. And that's the worst thing. That's the worst way to put it, but that's what you have to do. Because later on, after we meet this girl again, yes, you have to do all of this again, and hear her manic cries and the fact that Kizami is the bad guy. The only thing you can do is ponder it again and see if you can't talk her down. One of these small differences is, after you have all the phones, you've gone through everything the way I've shown you, when it comes to this point, this is what changes everything. Have I come to kill you? Absolutely not. Don't you trust me?
違う！落ち着いてくれ！さっき話しただろ！
今日の宿題も終わってないのに殺されてたまるか！
この子、ハサミを持ってる。
ごめんなさい。
刺されたのか、俺は。嘘だろ。いや、大丈夫みたいだ。なぜだ？篠原、お前が。
大丈夫ですか？
ふざけるな！こんなハサミ、どこから持ってきたんだ！ダメだ。この子はまともに話ができる状態じゃない。ゆい先生に会いたい。
There are big spoilers for Chapter 5 here. If you don't want to watch it, click this Sachiko charm here. It'll take you to the end of the episode where I wrap everything up. If you don't mind, just continue watching the video, but if you love the story and don't want it spoiled, please click the charm.
持田君、大丈夫？
ゆい先生。よかった。会いたかったよ。
私もよ。持田君、危ないところだったわね。中島さんと篠原さんは残念だったけれど、君だけでも無事でいてくれてよかったわ。
先生。
よく頑張ったわね。さあ、一緒にゆかちゃんやみんなを探しましょう。
先生。俺もう疲れたよ。
よし。このドアを橋に使って。なんとか脱出できたわ。下、誰もいなかったかしら。右腕の骨が完全に中で折れて離れちゃってるわね。筋肉と皮膚だけで繋がってる感じだわ。ひどい痛み。持ってないと。篠崎さん、岸沼くん、無事でいてね。先生、今行くからね。
生徒が話を聞いてくれない？
もう私、どうしたらいいのか。教師を続けていく自信がなくなってしまいました。保護者の皆様から毎日メールが届くんです。結果の出せない教師など不要だって。
担任の私を飛び越えて、いきなり副担任の君にか。私が出張で飛び回っていて、君にクラスを任せっきりにしているせいで、苦労をかけてるね。すまないな。
いえ、副担任としてちゃんとあのクラスを見るのが私の使命ですから。信用して私にクラスをお任せいただいているのはむしろ光栄なことなのですが、ただ最近2の9のみんなにも何を言っても冗談っぽく流されてしまうし、あまり強く言うと反発されてしまうし、多分もう私みんなに嫌われてしまっています。だけど結果は大事ですし、あの子たちには将来のためにもいい成績を取れるようにしてあげたい。いい成績を。そうすれば保護者の方も
シド。
はい。
目を閉じて、もう一度思い返してごらん。
何をですか？
生徒たちさ。君が毎日、それこそ必死で彼らを思う気持ちに、気づいている子たちもたくさんいるという事実、思い当たらないか？
そうでしょうか。
うん。教師嫌いの篠崎は、毎日君に質問をしに職員室に来ているし、不登校だった岸沼も、週に4回以上学校へ来るようになっている。去年、1年生の時には考えられなかった光景だ。生徒はよく見ている。君は嫌われてなどいないと思うよ。
でも、たとえそうだとしても、やはり結果が、成績が出せなければ、保護者の方には納得していただけません。でないと私は、教師として失格。
確かに、保護者側の立場としても、学校側の立場としても、成績評価はとても重要なものだ。しかしまあ、これは僕の考えだが、僕は、結果と同じくらい、いや、それ以上に家庭が大事だと思っている。生徒たちが、たった3年間の短い期間で、いかに楽しく有意義に過ごすことができたか。悩んで、解決して、成長して大きくなって、卒業の時に楽しかったって言わせてやるのが、授業と同じくらい大事な教師の仕事だと思うんだ。篠崎や岸沼だけじゃない。家庭の事情で塞ぎ込み気味だった篠原も、中島や君と出会って明るくなった。
篠原さんが？
隠すのがうまいだろう、あの子は。生徒のために何ができるか。それを一生懸命に模索する姿勢ができている時点で、君は教師として合格だ。いや、君のような大人こそが教鞭を振るう場に立たなければいけない。誰にも馬鹿にされることなんてないんだ。自信を持ちなさい。君は学生時代と本当に変わらないな。悩みがあるといつも僕のところに相談に来てくれていた。大きな目に涙をいっぱい溜めてね。まあ、あんまり気張るな、シシド。君もじっくり楽しむんだ。面白い連中と過ごせる貴重な毎日を。卒業の時に、先生ありがとうって頭叩かれてみな。最高だぞ。 保護者の皆さんには私から一度連絡しておくよ。わかりやすい授業の作り方は、また明日にでも一緒に考えよう。ん？
先生、ありがとうございます。
ああ、嬉しいものだね。教え子に頼られるのは。
あれ？夢？なんだかいろんな夢を続けてみた気がする。縁起でもない。中島さんたちが命を落とすなんて。私、どこにいるのかしら。私、あのまま瓦礫に埋まっちゃったんだ。篠崎さん、無事に逃げられたかな。
生徒のために何ができるか。それを一生懸命に模索する姿勢ができている時点で、君は教師として合格だ。
私は少しでも先生らしくなれたのかな。まだ1年も経ってないけど、体動かないや。下半身の感覚もあまりないし、首から下が麻酔がかかったみたい。それにしても暗いな。寂しいな。もう少し生きていなかったな。あれ？涙。もう死ぬのに出るんだ、私。
私ね、うちの学校の先生嫌いだけど、シシド先生は大好き。お姉ちゃんと同じ雰囲気がするの。先生、猫飼ってるの？私、この子が欲しいんだけど、飼うの難しい？見て見て。かわいいかわいい、超丸い耳の子。あんたじゃないの。
ユイ先生、そのタレタレパンダのネックレスさ、やっぱかけてんの？胸の形にさ。えって
ー！すごいパンチだ。
先生、私ね、向こうに行ったら手紙書きます。これからも大人になってもずーっと 私の先生でいてほしいの。いいでしょ？
先生、今日は自転車のチェーン外れてたよね。俺先生の失敗してる姿を観察するの、大好きなんだよね。
みんな、頑張れ。絶対、死んじゃダメだよ。しっかり、道を切り開いて、君たちの未来を、掴むんだよ。寒いよ。お母さん、お父さん。モネちゃん。寂しいよ。怖いよ。
And that is it. We have all the endings. Now, you might notice, along with the white stars, there is now a blue star. For those of you who click the charm all the way here, the ending we just saw is an extra ending. There are extra endings that, while they may involve the death of someone, they are actually crucial to the story and the backstory of some of the characters. So, good to know. There's actually one in Chapter 5 as well, and we'll get to that when we get there. And that is everything. We have all the name tags for Chapter 4. We have all the endings now. There's one thing left to do. We will finish up Chapter 5, the end of the game. So, I will see you guys next time.